Okay, welcome to the AP Physics Prep class. This is lesson for day 1, part 1, and it's just a general overview of what is covered in the class. So the most important thing to do is make sure you're registered. You must register for this course in order to receive a grade. Registration happens the same way you would register for any other summer school class at Don Bosco Technical Institute. You can download the high school summer school registration form from boscotech.edu. You don't even need to type the www part. And then you can either hand deliver or mail in your registration form along with the $100 check for tuition to Don Bosco Tech. And that's 1151 San Gabriel Boulevard, Rosemead, California, 91770. And this will give you access to the Net Classroom online gradebook system. Without this, you will receive no grade for the class, and hence no credit or any other record that you took the course. All right, just to give you an idea of what I mean when I talk about sessions in a lot of the course documentation. This class is a 2-week class, which is part of the 6-week summer school that constitutes the standard Bosco Tech summer school. In order to accommodate a diverse array of summer schedules, the class is repeated 3 times. So, for example, some people are on vacation during the first 2 weeks of summer school. That's okay. The class is repeated 3 times over the course of 6 weeks. So if you're not available during the first 2 weeks, you have 2 other opportunities, the middle 2 weeks and the last 2 weeks. So each of these 2-week blocks are called sessions, and each session is a pretty much direct repeat of all the other sessions. And since it's a direct repeat, you only need to take one of the 3 sessions. Okay, you only need to take one of the 3 sessions. Now, if you can free up 2 weeks of your time earlier, that is a better strategy, because if you do not pass an earlier section, you can try again in one of the later sessions. Okay, some general rules. Integrity in an online course. I expect all of the integrity from you that I expect during a regular school year. So the expectations that when you turn in something with only your name on it, that it represents a substantial amount or completely your work, depending on the task, that expectation is intact. That has not changed due to the fact that we are now online. What has changed is my ability to enforce this rule of integrity. As usual, you are allowed to work collaboratively on homework. Obviously, you are not allowed to work collaboratively on tests. However, whether it's a homework or a test, it has to represent a substantial portion of your own effort, so you cannot directly copy. A good line, you cannot directly copy homework. A good line to draw on homework between collaboration and outright copying is that if somebody is helping you to solve a problem on the homework, that somebody can answer a problem like the problem that you're solving, but he should not answer the problem that you are solving. Okay? And of course, tests need to be completely your own effort. No notes, no books, no online resources, only what is given to you as part of the test or what is explicitly allowed in the test documentation. Grades will be posted on Net Classroom just like any other class. In order to pass this class, you need a 70% or higher, but really 70% is on the low end. I'm just using 70% because it is the common definition of what constitutes a C, and a C is commonly accepted as the lowest passing grade. So, if you just barely pass this class, to be honest, you should really reconsider taking AP Physics during the regular school year. If you cannot keep up with the pace of this class, then you might be better off in a regular physics class. Okay, in terms of materials, you will need internet access via a computer or a tablet. Yes, you can view all of these videos on a smartphone, but the format of a smartphone is just too small. Even if you have a high-res smartphone, there's just not enough screen space to see all of the details. You'll need a printer, because sometimes you will have to download a document, or I will email you a document. You have to print it, fill it out, and get it back to me. By the way, my printer broke or my printer was out of ink is not an acceptable excuse, so you better test your printer now if you haven't done so already. The getting it back to me part is also a little tricky, and for now I'm just going to have you use any means of digitizing paper. That could be a scanner. Scanners are the best way to digitize paper. But it could also be a digital camera, a good digital camera in good lighting conditions. If you take a picture of something and it's blurry or poorly lit to the point where I have trouble reading it, I am just going to give you a 0, even if that constitutes a test, and even if that test means you don't pass the class. So, learn how to use your scanner, learn how to use your digital camera, make sure your printer is working, make sure you have reliable internet access. Okay, some optional but nevertheless recommended materials. You'll need access to Skype, or you should have access to Skype, and the reason for that is that I'm going to conduct my help sessions via Skype. Now, there's at least 3 ways of doing Skype that I know of. You can do Skype using a computer, you can Skype using a tablet, or you can Skype using a smartphone, and the hardware requirements for each of those are listed below. Computer, you need internet access, web phone, a webcam if you want to do video, or a microphone if you just want to listen in. If you do it using a tablet, you need like an iPad. You need internet access and a camera which faces the user. iPads have this equipment. If you're using a smartphone, which again I don't recommend, but if you need help, getting help on a smartphone is better than getting no help. So internet access is of course required, and you'll need a camera that faces you so that I can see you or whatever you're diagramming or gesticulating at or whatever. The Skype software or app is free. You can download it from www.skype.com. Also, another thing in terms of materials, no textbook is needed for this class, although for the AP Physics class, you will, of course, need the required textbook, which is listed online at www.boscotech.edu. Okay, communication and getting help. Most of my communication is going to happen via email, and therefore you must check your email account daily, at least once per day. Probably twice is a little better. That way there's less lag time between my communication or my sending something and you receiving it. Also, if you need help, you can feel free to email me if you have any questions. Typical turnaround time for emails is going to be 24 hours. And I mentioned the Skype sessions before. There'll be interactive help sessions on every Thursday from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock Pacific time via Skype. Details of how to join these, which Skype session to join, will follow once we get closer to the very first Thursday. Okay, the class website is currently under construction. However, you will be until it comes fully online, you will be receiving all the information you need via email. There will be a series of handouts every day. You should print these before viewing the playlist. And of course, obviously the next part of the class format is the playlist itself. This takes the place of the regular lesson or lecture or other form of direct instruction that would ordinarily take place in a classroom. So there'll be a YouTube playlist that gives you the instruction you need. Now, some videos will include practice problems, either as part of the video or as a Khan Academy module. That's basically the practice element of Khan Academy. You do not need to turn these practice problems in. They are for your practice only. They are to help you get prepared for the homework. In general, these playlists will run from 60 to 90 minutes every day. Today, it's going to run a little bit longer because of more general and sort of overview style presentations like this. But the homework will be lighter to keep the total time down to about 3 hours per day. So, getting on to homework. Homework is obviously the next portion of our class format. You should expect 60 to 90 minutes of homework per day, and like I said, today that's going to be a little on the lighter side to make up for the extended lecture. The homework is due via email at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time the next day. That is the day after it is assigned. Homework turned in 1 day late will get 50% credit. So 1 day late is 2 days after it's assigned. Solutions will be posted 2 days after the homework is assigned, and after that, your homework, any homework turned in will receive no credit because you could have just copied the solutions. So this can get a little complicated, but let me give you an example. The homework assigned at the end of today's lesson will receive full credit if it is turned in by 11:59 p.m. on day 2. Today is day 1. You turn in your homework by 11:59 p.m. on day 2. You get full credit. You can also receive 50% credit if it is turned in by 11:59 p.m. on day 3. So that is the 1 day late will get 50% credit policy. And if it's turned in any later than that, it will receive no credit. In order to do the homework, you will have to print any sorts of worksheets that I assign, do them, and then you will have to digitize your response, and that can take the form of scanning it or taking photographs. That digital form of your response can then be emailed to etom@boscotech.edu. And again, that email has to be received by me by 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time the next day, or else it will receive some degree of late penalty or possibly even no credit. Now, in terms of digitizing responses, scanners work best. Digital cameras are good. If you have a decent camera phone, and you can hold it still, and you can get good lighting so that I get good, crisp pictures, not some blurry, shaky mess, then that's fine. However, if there are any sort of technical problems which result in homework that is difficult or impossible to read, then that falls under the category of your problem, not mine. So take a few minutes to work out any technical issues you have, and also give yourself enough time to allow for things to go wrong the first few times you try to turn in homework. Tests. There are only 2 tests. It's only a 2-week course, so there will be one test on day 5, that is the last day of the first week, and another on class day 10, that is the last day of any particular session. Tests will be emailed out at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. You must print your exam and do as much of it as you can in 2 hours. You'll be given an additional 15 minutes to digitize it and email it to me. That, once again, the email address is etom@boscotech.edu. Any tests received after 12:15 p.m. Pacific Time will be penalized. You will get a late penalty. If you are in a time zone where the 10 a.m. Pacific Time to 12:15 p.m. Pacific Time are inconvenient times, then email me, let me know your location. I'll make an alternate version of the test for you to take that at a time which is more convenient for you. In terms of credit and attribution, while this particular part of this lesson, this slideshow, is my creation, not all of the content of this class is going to be my original creations. At least for the first 2 lessons, these sources will include Khan Academy and the pastcalculus.com YouTube playlist. It obviously this name comes out a little bit differently on their website. Nevertheless, both of these sources are excellent resources, and if you need help in a real calculus class, I would strongly advise you to go to these websites. Okay, up next is a video. Is another video like this, and it's day 1, part 2. Topic is what is calculus. If you're watching this video through the AP Calculus Prep playlist, then this video will start automatically.